Hello! We would like to present a waste management project with a key interest in cardboard and aerosol cans waste treatment. This project is made by Tatiana Ilikina and Ksenia Volodina. Here you can find some key information on our issue. So we are having a territory located about 5 kilometers from the city center of Mikkeli. The area of the territory is half of a square kilometer. The forest there is coniferous and mixed. We also have a pond and a stream there, as well as no information on water use or underground water quality. The main source or kind of waste on this territory is cardboard and aerosol cans. In this part, you will hear about cardboard waste treatment. The content of it is the legal requirements of collection, as well as information on mechanical, thermal, and biological treatment. This will also include our plan on solving the current situation. Collection is mainly done by people when they bring their carton from their flats or apartments or houses to special containers, or by big companies who use carton for transportation and other uses. What we can bring to carton collection boxes or containers is boxes, paper bags, liquid packaging, kitchen paper, and toilet paper. However, we cannot bring egg cartons. That is already a final stage of recycling, so the paper fibers there are too short and small and are not possible for further production. Wet and greasy carton and paper, as those kinds of papers are already bad for recycling, can prevent and cause problems by pulping. Gift wrapping paper, as its content is not only the paper but also plastic and wax in a quite big percent. And finally, the hobby cardboard. This cardboard is contained in painting, that is making the de-inking process impossible. I have found at least 7 legislation on cardboard waste treatment. In the directive signed by European Commission in 1994, some goals for cardboard and paper recycling were set. The plan was to recycle up to 60% of paper and cardboard by 2020, up to 70% by 2025, and up to 85% by 2030. Mechanical treatment. This kind of treatment is normally aimed to get the cardboard recycled. This begins with sorting the cardboard into two groups. First is paperboard, a thin variation of carton that we normally see in everyday occasion in smaller packages, as well as corrugated carton, that is a thick carton that is usually used by companies for transportation package. After this, both kinds of carton are shredded separately, and after that they come to the pulping process that allows to divide the paper and carton into fibers and then continue with filtering, contaminant removal, and the inking processes. Those processes allow us to take all the unwanted materials away. It is also important to mention that the maximum percent of the unwanted materials in carton and paper pulp should be no more than 3% of the volume, as well as the maximum moist content of the carton at the beginning of the process shouldn't exceed 10%. After all the process of filtering are ended, we can come to the final stage, the reuse stage. At this point, the pulp is dried in a form that is required by the further production, and then this material is sent further for factories to produce new carton or paper. Thermal treatment. This kind of treatment is the easiest one, and its main aim is to recover energy. Here the cardboard waste is first dried if needed, then burned, and burning allows us to produce either heat or electricity. Heat is normally used by people in everyday life, while electricity is sometimes used by other factories or make it easier to recover and recycle the carton by other methods. Biological treatment. This treatment is a biodegradation with further transfer to environment. In this case, the carton is 100% biodegrading in maximum of 2 years. The fibers of paper are degrading so well that they are then used in soil and a really good fertilizer or a kind of fertilizer for planting. What problems can we face in our particular issue? First of all is the difficulty to access. Our waste is located in the forest, so we can't use most of the big equipment to collect it. Also, the waste is not sorted. It is at least a mixture of carton and aerosol cans. That doesn't allow it to collect directly. Also, since the waste is located on the open area and might be wet, or basically it should be 100% wet, and possibly the biodegradation process is already in progress, we shouldn't use most of the ways of recycling. Our plan is to manually sort and collect as the waste from the forest, then transport it to a landfill or other facility that will allow us to choose either general biodegradation or a biodegradation with biogas production. Then, when the waste will come to those facilities, it will be biodegraded with some possible further uses. However, we can't use the mechanical treatment as the waste is already too wet and the process of biodegradation has begun. And we can't use the thermal treatment since the waste is already just too wet, so it won't burn as well as needed and it will require too much energy to dry it before burning.
And now we can talk about aerosol cans waste treatment. In this part of presentation, I will tell you about legal requirements, mechanical treatment, thermal treatment, and biological treatment. So let's start. Firstly, we will talk about collection. We need to divide the cans into empty and half empty or full separately. Aerosol cans that are not empty must be treated differently as it can be very dangerous. And also, if the can has a plastic lid, we can remove it for other recycling. With full and half empty cans, we can donate some of them for street artists or just for like art school or some students like make information for them. And also we should be very careful with these full and half empty bottles. We need to hand over for disposal them separately. And let's talk about marking. Information about this is necessary placed on the aerosol packaging. For example, it can be set after use or at the end of expiration date. Aerosol can be disposed as a household waste without opening, but also it can be asking us for a separate collection only in dangerous waste boxes, as in picture 2. So also about marking, aerosol cans are hazards only if they have one of the signs of them. You can see them in the picture. And also I found that in Finland, the hazardous waste are recycled in Korkealampu Casettelulla. I'm not sure how to translate it like perfectly, so I just leave the Finnish word here for you. And this company is making the hazard waste to not hazardous. And also the energy is restored, and there are some solvents like a glycol solution and the oil can be recycled for reuse. So about legislation. I found information that in Europe, the like construction of an aerosol can be regulated only by Aerosol Dispense Directive (ADD). It's the main like company for this. Also, major hazardous waste is supplied by companies such as Fortum, Cycle Environmental Services, and Lassila and Tikonoja O. And also, I found a law. It is also in Finnish for you. Um, It describes the production, controls the quality and the use, and also this law obligates us to proper disposal of aerosol cans. Then we can start with mechanical treatment. This method is used only for empty aerosol cans. They are not hazardous waste and they recycle the same way as metal cans. And so in Finland and in Europe, about half of production of new metal products are reused from like recycled one, so it's very nice. And I found some mechanical treatment, but it is only for dangerous projectiles and like military devices under pressure, like an aerosol cans. So um, they took the like projectile and then they put some water in it by pressure and then it is frozen with very low temperatures and then some special equipment crush it and they took ice off and dispose it, but it's only for like military devices. Then we can talk about thermal treatment. um, Also, yes, the separation should be very careful carried out. The like algorithm is like this. Water firstly is put it into the cylinder of a can, and then water freezes. It's very low temperatures. Then that like cylinder is cooled until the destruction of its walls, and then the water with like in form of ice is taken off, and the cylinder is going to recycling, and the water is going to be not hazardous waste anymore because they are doing some processes with it. So then biological treatment. I can say that it's not impossible because, like this cans, about 60% are made from steel and others are made from aluminium. And as we know, in nature, in some soil, the process of degradation can take over like 50 or 100 years for metal, so it's quite impossible, yeah. And then we can talk about problems that we faced. First one is inability to use special equipment for waste collection because tractors or other equipment should not be used to collect waste as we have aerosols under pressure and they can simply explode. And because of this, we can find the next problem. The process will take a lot of time just because of the work that people should do. Then only trained people work with hazardous waste. Yes, sir. Like only by supervisor or like specially trained person we can do this job. And also the risk of garbage collection and transportation due to the aerosols under pressure, it can be like a risk. And so our plan is mostly manual sorting, then donation a part of aerosols, then transportation to the place of hazardous waste processing, and then recycling metal into new things. So that's it. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.